name is Kathy, and today I'll be continuing the discussion on Bach Flower Essences and their practical use. Continuing with their use on ailments. Today we will look at the ailments these essences can help with, continuing the letter T2, second part, and U. But before I do this, I wanted to let you know that because I have a great many videos now on many different topics, that I've decided to make several different video playlists, so that it's easy to find the videos of greatest interest. So please check out my playlist page. Thyroid problems. The thyroid transfers emotions into bodily functions. We become ill when this does not happen successfully. For a hyperactive thyroid with glassy eyes, nervousness, restlessness, shaking, and thinness, use cherry plum, impatience, vervain, and oak. Use cherry plum for strong, suppressed emotions and sexual drives. Use impatience and vervain for severe nervousness and hyperactivity. Use oak when we are grim and put too much pressure on ourselves. For hypoactive thyroid, characterized by reduced activity with slowness, lethargy, and weakness, use clematis and wild rose for lack of enthusiasm and drive, drowsiness and a lack of interest in life, hornbeam for weakness and a permanent feeling of stress and overwork. Tolerance, intolerance. True tolerance stems from the knowledge that everything is justified in its existence and that we should all learn to live and let live. If we are to be tolerated by other people, we must be willing to tolerate them as well. This can happen only when we learn to tolerate all of our inconsistencies and shortcomings. Any quality that we disapprove of in ourselves, we are certain to disapprove in other people. The more openly and honestly we can face our own shortcomings, the more tolerant and understanding we will be with other people. We are not all tolerant by nature. There are people who are intolerant and struggle against it. When they try to hide their intolerance and pass themselves off as tolerant and understanding, they become confused by their own lies. It's better if they simply learn to recognize and acknowledge their intolerance. Their eternal criticizing and struggling will at least have a note of honesty, which will be more tolerable for other people. For intolerance that is hypocritical, use agrimony. Agrimony is useful for people who try to pass themselves off as tolerant and positive, to distance themselves from their true nature and to be popular. For intolerance that is very apparent, use beech. When we appear to be tolerant, but deep inside we are actually intolerant, we need beech. This openness and understanding has an artificial air and prevents us from facing reality honestly. For intolerance due to a lack of interest, use wild rose. When we have lost our interest in life, nothing really matters anymore. This tolerance is a sign of a spiritual illness and is by no means an indication of virtue. For tolerance that is artificial or excessive, use agrimony and beech. For tolerance that is opportunistic, use beech and heather. For tolerance due to a lack of self-confidence, use beech and larch. For tolerance due to timidity, use beech and mimulus. For tolerance that is unnatural and moralistic, use beech and pine. For tolerance that is excessive and has emotional distance, use beech and water violet. Trauma, psychic injury. For trauma leading to hopelessness, use gorse and Star of Bethlehem. For trauma caused by humiliation, use heather and Star of Bethlehem. For trauma due to a loss, use honeysuckle and Star of Bethlehem. For trauma undermining your self-confidence, use larch and Star of Bethlehem. For trauma creating timidity, use mimulus and Star of Bethlehem. For trauma causing depression, use mustard and Star of Bethlehem. For traumatic experiences causing excessive worry, use red chestnut and Star of Bethlehem. For trauma weakening the psychic defenses, use Star of Bethlehem and walnut. For trauma causing human contact problems, use Star of Bethlehem and water violet. For traumatic thoughts, use Star of Bethlehem and white chestnut. For trauma causing resignation, use Star of Bethlehem and wild rose. For trauma causing bitterness, use Star of Bethlehem and willow. Unbearable life situations. For unbearable life situations due to placing oneself under extreme pressure, use cherry plum. The more strongly we suppress important needs or drives, the greater is our distress. Cherry plum is useful when we feel we can't stand the pressure anymore and are about to do something terrible. For unbearable life situations due to insufficient mental and psychic strength, use Star of Bethlehem. Star of Bethlehem helps us work through traumatic and devastating situations. For unbearable life situations due to inner inflexibility, use sweet chestnut. When we are too strong and refuse to bend to fate, we can create an unbearable inner pressure from which there seems to be no release. Sweet chestnut can help diffuse or prevent such situations. Uneasiness, restlessness. For uneasiness and restlessness that's due to secret worries, use agrimony. Agrimony is for people who try to conceal their true inner condition. This causes a constant strain. Although they try to appear carefree, they are somehow driven and restless. For uneasiness and restlessness due to insecurity, use serrato. When we want things to be just fine with everyone, but don't know how to make them so, we lose our inner peace and never find ourselves. For uneasiness and restlessness with nervous chatter and showing off, use heather. Heather is for people who become restless when they don't receive enough attention. They constantly draw attention to themselves and put themselves in the spotlight. For uneasiness and restlessness with impatience and nervousness, use impatience. Impatience is the basic essence for all conditions related to haste or restlessness and uneasiness. For uneasiness and restlessness due to guilty feelings, use pine. We can never find inner peace when we have a bad conscience. For uneasiness and restlessness due to excessive worrying about others, use red chestnut. For uneasiness and restlessness with the danger of psychosis, use cherry plum and impatience. For restlessness with fear, use impatience and mimulus. For restlessness caused by worries, use impatience and red chestnut. For restlessness with a tendency towards panic, use impatience and rock rose. Unforgiving bitterness. Unforgiving people are above all emotional and demanding. They invest their emotions heavily in their expectations and tend to become deeply disappointed when these expectations are not met. Sometimes they can feel a need for revenge as well. Chicory helps diminish these intensive emotional demands, and willow counters the tendency to react bitterly. We can then come to terms with the supposed injustice and become more conciliatory. So it's chicory and willow. Ungratefulness. For ungratefulness due to never being satisfied, use chicory. Chicory is for people who can never seem to have enough. For ungratefulness due to bitterness, use willow. When resentment or denial of a desire causes us to forget everything that we do have, we need willow. Unreliability. For unreliability caused by an inability to make decisions, use scleranthus. People who have difficulty making decisions jump from one choice to the next. It often seems that they are being pressured to reverse their directions, and they appear to be unreliable. For unreliability due to being too easily influenced, use walnut. When we are too easily influenced, we are not reliable and can often not even trust ourselves. Walnut helps us stay true to ourselves and hold our own course. For unreliability caused by distraction, use wild oat. When we don't know what we want, it's easy to be distracted from our goals or to be interrupted from a task that we have started. Wild oat helps us recognize what's important and what's right. I have a great many videos now on many different topics, so I've decided to make several different video playlists so that it's easy to find the videos of greatest interest. So please check out my playlist page. Well, that's it for now. To stay up to date with my latest videos, make sure to subscribe to this free YouTube channel by clicking the red subscribe button right below this video. Take care.